Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The Dallas Cowboys facility in Frisco, Texas, finally felt a little different this week. There was a certain energy in the air, a buzz that hasn't been there for over a month. You could feel it in the locker room, sense it in the fans gathered around social media threads, and see it written all over Dak Prescott's face as practice wrapped up. The reason for all that excitement? CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys' superstar wide receiver, is back on the field, running routes again, catching passes again, and, most importantly, showing signs that his return to game action might be just around the corner. After missing 4 straight games with that frustrating high ankle sprain, the kind that always seems to linger longer than you want, Lamb is inching closer to suiting up again, and the timing couldn't be better. With a huge divisional matchup against the Washington Commanders on deck this Sunday, Dallas might just be getting one of its most explosive weapons back at the perfect moment. On Wednesday, John Machota of The Athletic broke the story that Cowboys fans had been waiting to hear. Lamb was back on the practice field, albeit in a limited capacity. As long as he doesn't suffer a setback, Machota reported, the expectation is that he'll play Sunday. That sentence alone might as well have been a touchdown pass from Dak to Lamb because it lit up the Cowboys community with optimism. The team has been quietly pointing to this Week 7 clash against Washington as the target date for Lamb's comeback for quite some time. But with high ankle sprains, you can never be too sure. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks, sometimes 5, and sometimes it drags on much longer. For Dallas, the sight of their WR1 cutting, pivoting, and catching in rhythm again is as big a confidence boost as it gets. This isn't just another player returning to the field. This is CeeDee Lamb, the man who defines the Cowboys' passing attack, the man who brings swagger to every route, who makes Dak Prescott's job infinitely easier, and who draws so much defensive attention that everyone else on the field gets a little bit more room to breathe. Losing Lamb for those 4 games hurt, but somehow, the Cowboys' offense has managed to stay afloat. Dak, in particular, deserves credit. Despite missing his top target, he's been one of the league's most efficient quarterbacks through 6 games, leading the NFL with 13 touchdown passes against just 3 interceptions and ranking second in passing yards with 1,617. That's a testament to not only Prescott's composure, but also the adaptability of the Cowboys' scheme and the emergence of some unexpected heroes. One of those heroes has been George Pickens, the off-season acquisition from Pittsburgh, who has quickly become a fan favorite in Dallas. When the Cowboys traded for Pickens, the expectation was that he'd complement Lamb, not replace him. But with Lamb sidelined, Pickens stepped up in a massive way. He's been everything the Cowboys could have hoped for and more. Physical, explosive, confident, and clutch. Through 6 games, Pickens leads the team with 32 receptions for 525 yards and 6 touchdowns. He scored in 5 straight games, including back-to-back performances that reminded everyone just how dangerous he can be downfield. In 2 of his last 3 outings, he's gone over the 100-yard mark, showing the kind of chemistry with Dak that usually takes years to build. Still, for all of Pickens' heroics, there's something different about having Lamb on the field. He changes the geometry of the defense. Safeties play deeper. Linebackers hesitate. Cornerbacks get caught guessing. The Cowboys' playbook expands because offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer knows he has that one player who can make something out of nothing. A short slant turns into a 40-yard gain. A routine 3rd and 5 suddenly becomes an opportunity for a highlight reel moment. That's the Lamb effect, and the Cowboys have missed it dearly. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN added another layer to the optimism earlier this week, explaining that Dallas has been really beat up, but that Lamb and several others could be back in the lineup soon. That is sort of the loose plan, Fowler said, depending on how practice goes. Those words might not sound definitive, but in NFL terms, that's as close as it gets to a green light. The fact that Lamb's timeline hasn't been derailed is crucial, especially considering how these ankle injuries can flare up unexpectedly. The Cowboys have been cautious, playing the long game with their star receiver, and it looks like that patience is about to pay off. Now, let's talk about what Lamb's return really means for this Cowboys team heading into their divisional showdown against the Commanders. Washington has been a mixed bag this season, tough up front, inconsistent in coverage, and struggling to contain explosive plays downfield. If there's one area where they're vulnerable, it's against dynamic receivers who can stretch the field vertically and force their secondary into uncomfortable matchups. That's exactly what Lamb specializes in. Having him back on the field means that Washington can't just roll coverage toward Pickens anymore. They'll have to pick their poison, and that's when Dak Prescott thrives. He's at his best when defenses are on their heels, when he can read and react rather than force the issue. And make no mistake, this is more than just a physical boost. It's an emotional one, too. Lamb's presence lifts everyone around him. You could see it in practice clips from Wednesday, teammates laughing, energy levels high, even Dak throwing with a little extra zip. When a star player comes back, it sends a message: we're getting healthy, we're getting stronger, and we're not done yet. The Cowboys know that in a division as competitive as the NFC East, every edge matters. The Eagles and Giants are both fighting their own battles, and Washington has been desperate to steal a win and stay in the race. For Dallas, getting Lamb back could be the difference between maintaining momentum and slipping behind in the standings. The Cowboys' offense without Lamb has relied heavily on quick reads, motion, and timing routes designed to get the ball out of Dak's hands fast. That's worked, to a point. But there's only so far you can go without a true number one receiver who can consistently win one-on-one battles. Pickens has been phenomenal, yes, but he's been facing top coverage every week, and it's taken a toll. With Lamb back, defenses can't afford to double him as often. Suddenly, the field opens up for everyone. For tight end Jake Ferguson over the middle, for Tony Pollard in the screen game, and of course for Pickens to keep doing damage downfield. It's also worth noting how much this could impact the Cowboys' red zone efficiency. Over the last few weeks, Dallas has been solid between the 20s, but inconsistent when it matters most. Lamb's ability to create separation and his knack for timing routes inside the red zone are exactly what this team has been missing. He's one of the best at finding soft spots in coverage and turning tight windows into touchdowns. If he's truly ready to go on Sunday, don't be surprised if the Cowboys' offense suddenly looks sharper, faster, and far more dynamic. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Cowboys have been cautious for a reason. A high ankle sprain isn't something you just tough out. It affects every cut, every burst, every jump. Even a small setback in practice can delay a return for weeks. That's why Wednesday's participation, even in a limited role, is such an encouraging sign. It shows that Lamb's recovery is tracking exactly where the team hoped it would. The key now is getting through Thursday and Friday without swelling or discomfort. If that happens, it's full steam ahead for Sunday. So here we are, 4 weeks without Lamb, for games of grinding it out, for games of finding ways to win without their top playmaker. The Cowboys survived that stretch, but now they're ready to thrive again. The offense has evolved in his absence. Dak's pocket presence has improved. Pickens has emerged as a legitimate star, and the running game has shown flashes of balance. Adding Lamb back into that mix could take this team from good to great, and that's what makes this moment so important. The Cowboys aren't just welcoming back a player, they're getting back their identity. CeeDee Lamb is more than just a receiver. He's the heartbeat of this offense, the spark that ignites the crowd, the guy who makes every fan believe that no deficit is too big and no play is impossible. As long as his ankle holds up, Dallas will finally have its full arsenal back, and the rest of the NFC should take notice. So when Sunday rolls around and the Cowboys take the field against the Commanders, keep an eye on number 88. Watch the way he lines up, the way defenders react, the way Dak's eyes light up the moment he sees that familiar burst of speed. Because if CeeDee Lamb is truly back, if that ankle is ready, if that explosiveness has returned, then the Dallas Cowboys offense is about to look a whole lot like the one fans have been dreaming of since the season began. And for a team chasing Super Bowl aspirations, that might be exactly what they need to turn potential into power and hope into something real. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. The atmosphere around the Dallas Cowboys locker room has taken a dramatic turn, and it all started with one man, Jerry Jones. Known for his larger-than-life persona, his deep passion for the Cowboys, and his sometimes controversial interventions in team decisions, Jones has once again made headlines, this time targeting his head coach, Shane Schottenheimer, in what insiders are describing as a blistering press conference that could signal a shift in the dynamics of America's team. The whispers around AT&T Stadium have been growing for weeks, but yesterday, Those whispers became a roar as Jones stepped up to the podium, a man visibly frustrated, his words carrying a sharper edge than fans have heard in years. Sources close to the team say that the usually measured owner seemed less concerned about diplomacy and more focused on sending a message, both to his coaching staff and to the fan base, about where the team stands and where it's headed. According to multiple insider accounts, the tension between Jones and Schottenheimer has been simmering under the surface for months, a tension that some suggest dates back to the early stages of the season when key offensive strategies seemed to falter at crucial moments. It's been reported that Jones has grown increasingly concerned with play-calling decisions that he believes do not leverage the team's star players effectively, particularly when it comes to the offensive line and the quarterback position. While Schottenheimer has been praised in some circles for his adaptability and calm demeanor, those same traits may have contributed to a perception among Cowboys leadership that he is not assertive enough in demanding results on the field. Yesterday, however, Jones appeared ready to shed any pretense of neutrality, choosing instead to openly challenge the decisions of the man entrusted with guiding the team through one of the most scrutinized seasons in recent franchise history. Eyewitnesses at the press conference describe a scene that seemed to capture a rare vulnerability in Jerry Jones. The owner, usually controlled and polished, spoke with a mix of exasperation and urgency, emphasizing that the Cowboys are a team with a proud legacy and expectations that are, by definition, unforgiving. Sources say he criticized what he described as inconsistent execution and strategic hesitations on the field, language that, while not outright dismissal, signaled a clear lack of confidence in Schottenheimer's current trajectory. Some analysts have noted that Jones' tone hinted at a breaking point, a subtle but unmistakable warning that changes may be imminent if the team does not find a way to convert potential into consistent performance. The language he used, although carefully measured, carried undertones that fans and insiders alike interpreted as a critique not just of play calling, but of leadership under pressure, a critique that could have profound implications for the locker room atmosphere in the weeks ahead. In the days leading up to the press conference, rumors had already been swirling about a possible rift between Jones and Schottenheimer. Sources from within the organization have claimed that internal meetings were tense, with disagreements over offensive schemes and game management strategies spilling over into heated debates. Some say that Jones had personally suggested adjustments that were either ignored or implemented half-heartedly, fueling his growing frustration. What is particularly striking about yesterday's public comments is that they mark a departure from the owner's usual practice of addressing concerns behind closed doors. By taking his message to the media, Jones not only amplified the pressure on Schottenheimer, but also fueled speculation about the stability of the coaching situation, sending the sports world into a frenzy of what-if scenarios that will likely dominate headlines for days. The implications of Jones' remarks are manifold. Industry insiders suggest that the comments were as much about accountability as they were about performance, serving as a signal to the players, the coaching staff, and even the fan base that mediocrity, or perceived mediocrity, will not be tolerated. While Schottenheimer is widely respected for his football IQ and professional demeanor, the rumor mill suggests that his approach may have clashed with Jones' vision for a more aggressive, high-stakes offensive strategy. Fans who have been closely following the team have noted a subtle shift in Jones' demeanor over the past few weeks, with the normally charismatic owner appearing increasingly restless and vocal about his expectations. The timing of the press conference, coming just after a series of games where the Cowboys showed flashes of brilliance but failed to consistently capitalize on opportunities, only adds fuel to the fire. Some insiders are even speculating that this public critique could be the prelude to more dramatic decisions in the near future, including potential coaching staff reshuffles or strategic shifts. Adding another layer to this unfolding drama are the reactions from former players and analysts who have taken to social media to dissect every nuance of Jones' statements. Many argue that the owner's intervention is not unprecedented. He has historically been involved in key personnel and tactical decisions. But the tone this time is markedly different. There is a sense among pundits that Jones is no longer content with subtle suggestions or behind-the-scenes influence. He is demanding immediate results, and he is willing to make his dissatisfaction known to the public. Rumors suggest that Schottenheimer, while maintaining his composure publicly, may be privately reassessing his strategy and approach to leadership, knowing that the margin for error in Dallas is extraordinarily thin. The drama is only intensified by the fact that the Cowboys' next few games are seen as critical tests, not just of their on-field capabilities, but of their internal cohesion under the weight of Jones' scrutiny. It is also worth noting that the ripple effects of this press conference extend beyond the coaching staff. Players are reportedly paying close attention, with some feeling the pressure of heightened expectations and others reportedly questioning the long-term vision of the organization. Sources claim that locker room conversations have become more intense, with younger players particularly sensitive to the undercurrents of tension between the owner and head coach. Veteran players, on the other hand, are attempting to act as stabilizers, trying to maintain focus amid the speculation and media frenzy. The overall sentiment, insiders say, is one of cautious urgency. Everyone recognizes the stakes are high, and there is a palpable sense that the next few weeks could define the season for the Cowboys in ways that go far beyond wins and losses. Meanwhile, the sports media ecosystem has exploded with analysis, debate, and conjecture. Every word, every pause, every nuance of Jones' delivery is being dissected for hidden meaning. Analysts are combing over past interviews, press conferences, and game decisions, attempting to piece together a coherent narrative that explains the sudden intensity of Jones' critique. Social media platforms are flooded with fan reactions, ranging from staunch support for the owner's assertiveness to defense of Schottenheimer's tactical decisions. Even rival team supporters have weighed in, adding their own commentary to the swirling storm of speculation. Amid this cacophony, one thing is clear. Jones' intervention has reignited the national conversation about the Cowboys, ensuring that the team remains at the center of attention in a way that few organizations can manage, regardless of current standings or on-field performance. In summary, what we witnessed with Jerry Jones' recent press conference is more than a simple critique of a coach or a reaction to recent game outcomes. It is a high-stakes maneuver, a calculated public display that signals urgency, expectation, and perhaps impatience from one of the most influential owners in professional sports. For Shane Schottenheimer, the path forward may be fraught with increased scrutiny and pressure to deliver results that satisfy not only the fans but the man who holds the reins of the franchise. For the Cowboys as a whole, this moment is shaping up to be a defining chapter in the ongoing saga of a team that has always been larger than life, where the weight of legacy, expectation, and public scrutiny collide in a spectacle that is as thrilling as it is unpredictable. As the rumor mill churns and insiders leak bits and pieces of behind-the-scenes developments, one thing is certain: the drama surrounding Jerry Jones and Shane Schottenheimer is far from over, and the next move in this high-stakes chess game could redefine the narrative for the Cowboys for the rest of the season and beyond. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.